Hey everybody, it's your girl Nell, and welcome to this week's edition of Simply Nell's Tiny Studio. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. What you won't believe is that I recorded this video or versions of this introduction to this video maybe about 10 times. And the reason is because whenever I take a social media break or I take a break from filming in the tiny studio, you have to get back on that horse. And even though it's been a week and a half since I've been filming, it's still, when you get out of doing something all the time consistently, you have to put that effort back in to get back on that horse and get back to work. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I've been away for a little bit. I needed a brief hiatus. I was dealing with finals and everything for class and trying to get prepared and register for the next semester so I can be ready and sharp and all of that stuff. And I'm not as spry and youthful as I used to be when I was, studying for my undergrad degree. However, I've noticed that the more mature I become, the more time I have to take. So I not only have a textbook version, a physical textbook of my classes, but I also listen to my classes or to my textbooks through the audio device. So I'm not just reading it, I'm listening to it as well. Or on days when I'm not able to pick up the physical textbook, I'm listening. So I'm getting the textbook times two. And it's been helping me to be able to not only just learn the information and retain the information, but I'm able to do auxiliary research on the information that I am working on for my class. So, or in class. So, it's just a little bit more intense being being a mature student. It's become really intense for me. So I had to take a little break from doing nails giving, and I've noticed there's not a lot of Vlogmas YouTube videos out right now from my favorite YouTubers. Especially right now, I've only seen maybe one of my favorite YouTubers doing a Vlogmas. So that's really interesting because, with nails giving, that was a lot, to film every single day, and to have some type of content to film. And, that's why I was like, Vlogmas, I might not do it, but nails giving might be better because I'm not stuck to, the Vlogmas script. But it's one thing that I do. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I am a Sagittarius. I'm a perfectionist. I'm an artist. I'm a creative. So, I put a lot of pressure on myself. So I really need to let up or ease up a little bit, But anyhow, that led to my social media shutdown a little bit. And now I am back, but I'm only back for a minute. So you'll see me here today, and then I'll be back one more time next week, probably around maybe on Tuesday, Christmas Eve, and I'll probably do a video then. And the next time you'll see me will be on January 2nd. I'm gonna give myself some more, give myself have a holiday too as well. Have a holiday too, and why not? Look, a mini vacation. Why not? Hey, even when I was on vacation, I was filming. Isn't that something? So, how are you doing? Even though I haven't been filming, I have been here inside the tiny studio. Oh, this is tea and conversation, by the way. I am drinking some hyssop tea with some natural local Florida honey. It's very important that you know where your honey comes from. Most of the honey that you see in your grocery stores today is fake honey, not real honey. It may be 5% honey and the rest cornstarch or corn syrup. So you have to be very careful when you buy your honey. Always buy local. Your local bee hivers will thank you. And I'm also munching on some candy, some homemade candy. One of my husband's fellow employees made candy and some other goodies for the holiday, and he brought home these really delicious. Look at that! Look at little Santa. Look at little Santa. Isn't that cute? Some of these little fudge bars, and she put it in this really nice um, container. Looks like this, and she gave all of her fellow co-workers this. And my husband brought it home for me, and I've been munching on it. It's really, really delicious. She did a really good job. Homemade candy, homemade fudge. It's nothing like homemade candy. So how have you been doing? Have you been having a great, what have you been going through? How have you been doing since I've been on my mini hiatus? I hope that, whatever it is that you may be going through, I hope you're having a great holiday season. I know the holidays becomes very, troublesome and sad and lonely and depressing for people who have lost loved ones, and this can be a very depressing time of year. So if you know someone that has lost a loved one, and you understand, the tremendous cloud that's hanging over them, why don't you give them a call and let them know that you're thinking about them? Because that is something that a lot of people need, especially during this time of year. One of my friends lost her dad um, right before Thanksgiving, and so you know she's been really, of course, she's grieving at this time. She's in mourning, so I've been keeping in contact with her to make sure that, the grief doesn't become overwhelming, especially during this time of year, because her dad was a chef, and he loved the holidays, especially Thanksgiving and Christmas. So this is going to be a difficult time for her mom, and the rest of her family. So I want to send love out to her. And my family's been going through a little something too. I think everybody is going through something, but my family's been going through a little bit of, you know, difficult times, difficult, troublesome waves. It's happening right now in my family, and we're going through that troublesome times. And my husband once upon a time suggested that I start talking about relationships on this channel. And I rejected that idea, because when I come into the tiny studio, to release some of the pressure that I feel in my professional life as a journalist, as a writer, as an author. And as a grad student, a psychotherapist, I come into the tiny studio to do the things that make my heart glad, that takes some of the weight off of my shoulders, that brings light into my world. And I talk about things that I love and that I'm passionate about, such as dreadlock love, baby. You know what time it is. I talk about crochet. You see crochet over there, and crochet there, and crochet behind me. I talk about that. I talk about vintage coach. I talk about thrifting. All the things that make my world go round. I talk about those things because they're light, they're interesting, and it's a form of self-care for me when my professional life and personal life become too much. I become stressed and whatnot. I need to let some of that stress go. I come into the tiny studio and I crochet, or I write, or I read, all of those, read some wonderful novels, or I might watch a video or a movie or something. That's what I do when I come into the tiny studio. I don't bring my professional and personal life in here. Sometimes my professional life and personal life overlap in a tiny studio, but I really don't bring it in here on purpose with intention. But I had been thinking that maybe I'll, talk a little bit about relationships as a therapist, and maybe if there are some things that you would like for me to talk about on the channel when it comes to relationships, maybe I could do that with you. I don't mind doing that. We can talk. We can talk. As I said, my family's going through a really difficult time. My son and my daughter, future daughter-in-law, are going through a troublesome period, and we are pretty close knit family. So when one person is going through something, we're all going through it together. And it made me really think about relationships, and it made me really think seriously about the elements of a good relationship, the elements of a good functioning relationship. Yeah. It made me also think about, is love hard? Should love and relationships be about a lot of work? You know, what what are the tenets of a good, sustainable relationship, especially when it comes to a love relationship? What are those tenets? What are those things that's going to keep love alive, even though you're going through, the everyday functions of living life? How do you keep a love relationship moving forward? How do you keep it exciting? How do you keep it vibrant? How do you do all those things? And so I was talking to my youngest daughter, the tiny studio assistant, and I asked her this question. I said, what are, besides the basic tenets of a human's existence, as far as our needs are concerned? Well, first of all, what are the needs of a human being? Well, first of all, we need food, we need shelter, we need water, right? We need those things. That's number one. Those are our basic needs as human beings. But as human beings, we also need what else? We're a sociable. What the tiny studio assistant was saying, she said we are a sociable. We're sociable mammals. We human beings are sociable. So we believe in community, and what human beings do is that we get together and we form a community, and within those communities we form relationships, because that is what we do as humans. We're sociable, we form communities, and within those communities, we form relationships. And through those relationships, it could be friendships, it could be business partnerships, it could be co-worker relationships, it could be family or familial relationships. And those familial relationships can be born into, or we can create our own family. And there comes the love relationships, intimacy. We form relationships with people that we become intimate with. And what is the basic things that a relationship needs to be sustainable? And that's the question for you. What are the basic things that we need in a relationship to make it sustainable and to make it viable? I'll give you a second to think about that. The things that we need to keep a relationship sustainable and viable: we need to have communication, we need to have respect. Communication, there needs to be respect, and there needs to be honesty. And without those three things, you cannot have a viable, sustainable relationship. You can have a dysfunctional relationship without those three things. Yes, but you can't have a thriving, viable relationship that's healthy without having communication, honesty, and respect. And for me, those are the three components of a good, healthy, solid relationship. If your relationship, or the foundation of your relationship, is not based on honesty, transparency, respect, and communication, good communication, then your relationship is not going to thrive and it's not going to be viable or sustainable. As simple as that. Now, a lot of people really don't know how to communicate, and that's something that I've learned over the years. Even as a little girl, I realized that a lot of people do not know how to communicate properly. And the reason why communication is a problem in a relationship is because most of us are not in tune with our feelings. And when we are not in tune with our feelings, then that makes it difficult for us to be able to express honestly how we feel about a matter and be transparent about it to the person that we are in a relationship with or trying to communicate with. And a lot of people have issues with just communication. And I used to ask myself, why is it so difficult for people to just express themselves? Because, I'm a Sagittarius. I am a writer. I love everything about communication. I love everything about the art of language. So I was always the person that was like, it's easy for me to write a poem. It's easy for me to write someone a letter. It's easy for me to go and get a car and to write a note in it. It's easy for me. I used to buy stationery from Cranes. I love Cranes, and I need to, go into my cart on the Cranes website and go ahead and order my note cards. But it was always easy for me to communicate in that way. However, what I learned, and I just wondered why other people were not as effective communicators as myself. But then I learned that that was a very arrogant way to view the art of communication, because it came to a point where me, personally, because I wasn't in tune with myself at certain points in my journey here on, in life, there were certain things that I didn't communicate and that I could not be or did not wish to be transparent about, because I did not know how to communicate those feelings or express them to my partner or to my husband. And that's one thing about arrogance. Always be humble. Be humble. And so when I used to say I don't understand why people don't know how to communicate, the real issue is the fact that we have to be in tune and in touch with our feelings. And being in tune and in touch with our feelings and being able to be able to express those feelings and to be able to be honest with ourselves about those feelings, then we will be able to express those sentiments to the person that we love and that we care about. And it takes a lot of introspective thought and meditation to become in tune with yourself and to be honest with yourself before you can sit back and be transparent and honest and communicate with someone else. And I really believe that that is what's going on in my family right now, that we have an issue with communication and that we have a issue with being transparent. And transparency is one of those words that we like to throw around, but we really don't know what that means, and we really do not understand collectively what transparency means. And transparency means being like a window pane that you can see through. You see how I can look at the window and I can see right through it. I can see the trees, I can see the leaves. I can't see the wind, but I know that the wind is there because it's moving through the leaves on the tree, and there's movement. That's transparency, when you can see through something. You can get to the other side. A lot of us, when it comes to transparency, we don't want to be transparent. We like to live in a world where we can hide our feelings. We can hide our emotions. We can suppress things that are important and vital to strengthening a relationship. We like to keep those things suppressed deep within us because it's too difficult or too hard for us to pull those things out and put them aside, organize them, and then to really sift through those emotions and things that we feel. And because we do not want to take the time to really be reflective and introspective about what we're feeling and about our emotions, then we get to a place where we're not transparent. We don't want to be transparent. So in essence, we're being dishonest about our feelings and dishonest about just dishonest, period. And when you're in a relationship and you're not transparent and you become dishonest about who you are and what you are and your true emotions and your true feelings, then you perpetuate that to your partner, which brings you to a point where you have disrespected your partner and you've dishonored the relationship. So how do we get to a place where we can be able to have a sustainable relationship, a healthy relationship, and do so with good communication? You have to be in touch with who you are, first of all, the good, the bad, and the indifferent. And when you're in a relationship, you have to be able to lay bare your feelings, lay bare your doubts, lay bare the things that you feel you failed at, lay bare your faults, lay bare your accomplishments, lay bare your feelings of cowardice, your feelings of doubt, your feelings of denial. You have to be transparent and open and honest enough with yourself to be able to lay those things out for your partner. Because if you don't, how will your partner ever know if you're going through something? How will your partner ever know? How can you expect your partner to know that you are going through something if you're not transparent about it and you're not vocal about it and you don't communicate those feelings to your partner? They won't know. They will not know, and they will not be able to help you. And every action that you take in the veil of being non-transparent becomes eventually an act of dishonesty, disrespect, and betrayal. And I know that I've kind of, simplified all of this down to the nuts and bolts of a situation, but it takes time to get to that type of awareness and to and I've had to do the work, and I do the work, because to be introspective and to really sit down and to lay bare your feelings is a form of vulnerability. And a lot of people are not, are afraid to be vulnerable because for some reason, some of us walk around as if we are superheroes, as if we are supermen and superwomen, and that we don't break, or that we don't bend, that we don't cry, that we act as if we don't have doubts. We just have this Superman and Superwoman exterior upon us, when we're really just very sensitive and ushy, mushy, and gushy on the inside. You know, we're just teddy bears on the inside, but we want to put this facade up as if we're Superman or as if we're Wonder Woman. You know, look at us, we're strong, we got it. And guess what? No human being got it all the time. They just don't. You know, we just don't. That's the reality of the situation. That's just who we are. We all can't be strong all the time. I know I wear a lot of t-shirts that say I'm a strong black woman, I'm a strong educated black woman, I'm a strong intelligent black woman. You know, I love wearing those type of shirts, but I'm not strong all the time. I'm not strong all the time. I mean, I wasn't strong a few weeks ago when I fell and I ended up in the hospital. I ended up with, 2 sprained ankles and a jacked up knee. I wasn't strong then when I was feeling depressed and going through dark periods of pain and loneliness and anguish. I wasn't strong then. I had to lean on someone. But first of all, I had to communicate my feelings so that I could be able to get the support that I needed to make it through. I had to be honest with myself. And that's what I've been learning, is that if you're going to be a communicator, first of all, you have to be aware. You have to allow yourself to be vulnerable. And in that vulnerability, be reflective of your feelings and your emotions. And then find someone that you love. It could be your partner, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your fiance, whoever it may be. You have to be vulnerable enough and reflective enough and transparent so that you will be able to communicate to the people that you love how you're feeling and receive the help and the support that you need. Because another thing that human beings, that we all desire, is we desire to be loved. And in that desire to be loved, we also desire to be needed and to be wanted. So my honey thinks that, I really should get into, talking about relationships and stuff on this show. And as a therapist, I would like to do that. But I don't know if I want to do that all the time, I know it wouldn't be all the time, but I don't know if I want to put my professional life and, bring that into this area. I don't know. When I first started this channel, I started it with crochet, of course, but because I have I admire a lot of my crochet, my YouTube crochet family, and I said, that I could do this too. Can you hear the birds outside my window? A whole family of them. And I said, I want to be like them. I want to have a YouTube channel where I talk about crochet. And I did. But then I subscribe to YouTubers who are into reality TV and, really into the gossip vlogs and stuff like that. So I said, well, I want to try that too. And so I started doing that. And then, and even though I enjoyed it, that wasn't really me. I tried to do recaps of reality TV shows, but that really wasn't me. That and that's a lot of work, because it's not just sitting there watching the television show. You're not just you don't watch it once. You got to watch it at least 2 or 3 times in order to do a really good recap. And so that's not me. I don't have that type of time. So what I decided was that when I created this YouTube channel, I would talk about things that I really, really am passionate about and that I love, and that fed my soul. and, kind of lifted the stress that I was feeling in my professional and personal life. And just like I said, fed and nurtured my soul and made me feel good when I turned the cameras off. See, with this video right here, I think I already told you this, but maybe not. I stopped and started this video about 10 or 11 times. My ring light broke. I had to get another light. My camera is not good. It's just that, I'm in the process of investing in another mic. It's a lot. There's a lot that go into having a YouTube channel and trying to keep it sustainable and being consistent and just really trying to engage with the YouTube viewer and algorithm. But I'm just excited to be going into my third year here on YouTube and to expand my world. I have another channel where I talk about religiosity, and I'm really thinking about bringing my podcast to YouTube on another channel. So those are the things that I'm thinking about doing that feed, I want to continue to feed my soul. That's the idea. So I'll give it some more thought as to whether or not I'm going to talk about relationships. I've been married for 35 years. And yes, I've lived a lot of life. As Hart says, I lived multiple lives. And I've learned a lot being in relationships, whether it's the mother-daughter relationship, the mother-father, the father-daughter relationship, sibling relationships, mother-daughter. Did I say mother-daughter already? Mother and children relationships. Mother and son relationships. Husband-wife. Relationships. I really love being in relationships, but relationships are work, and you have to, and they can be challenging because we're all human beings and we all have needs and we have wants. And sometimes those needs and wants can clash with, my needs and my wants and my desires sometimes clashes with my husband's, my children's needs and wants, my adult children's needs and wants sometimes clashes with me and my husband. And, and their relationships that they have with their significant others, there are moments when their needs and wants clashes with their significant others. But how do we navigate those things? How do we navigate situations where the relationship or the road has become, or the path or the journey has become rocky, troublesome? How do we navigate those waves? How do we move about on that rocky, stony path and make it to the other side? How do we do that? How is that possible? And one of the ways, as I said before, is communication. That's something that I've been stressing a lot in my home these past couple of weeks, is communication and the art of communication. But the art of communication really starts inside. It starts with you. It starts with you reflecting on what your needs are, what your wants are, what your hopes are, what your dreams are. What is it that is placing a block in front of you that you cannot seem to get past? What is that? Those are the things that you have to really work on and you have to think about for yourself. A lot of people don't like to take that stop, slow the clock, and take the time out to really have a talk with themselves, to really sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and to sit down and write out their feelings. How do you feel? What are you going through? How was your day? Piece of paper, journal, diary, all of those things. That is what helps us to be able to have that conversation with ourselves, so that when we are in the act of being in a relationship with someone else, we are able to communicate those feelings to our partners or to our husbands, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, fiancés, whoever. We want to be able to communicate. We want to be honest about our feelings, honest about whatever it is that's going on with us. And that, like I said, it all starts with us. It all starts with me. It all starts with me. Because if I'm not honest and open with myself, how can I expect anyone else to be open and honest with me? Because I'm not extending them that same courtesy, right? Right. So let me tell you what came in the mail the other day for me that I ordered. The Granny Square card deck. And I believe her name, the author of the Granny Square card deck is Claire Montgomery. And I saw this, I think it was on the Elise Rose channel, crochet channel. I think that's her name because I want to give her the credit for this. Let me look it up real quick. I believe her name is Elise Rose Crochet. And I saw this on her channel. And she was talking about the different books. That's right. Elise Rose Crochet. Here it is. Okay, let me find out. Yeah, here it is. She was, let me turn this around. Oh my goodness, I keep doing the same thing. You guys are not going to see this. You're just not going to see it. Her name is Elise Rose Crochet. And she did a video 2 weeks ago called where she reviewed $322 worth of crochet and knit books so you don't have to. And in that, I don't know if you can see it, but she has a pile of crochet and knit books, right? Knitting books. And on the top of that pile is the Granny Square card deck. So when she opened it up and she started reviewing it, I was like, I really like that. I think that I'm going to buy it. And so I did. And oh my God, I really like it. Let me open it up for you. And you say, is it a card deck that you play? You know, no, my husband thought that too. He thought it was like a real card deck. Like we were going to play bid whist with it. No. So it comes with this little booklet. 50 mix and match designs. This is the inside of the booklet. And let me see. She have like the stitch chart and symbols. And I love the color instructions in the book, in this little booklet. That is so cool. Now let's get down to the card deck though, right? Look at that. It looks like there's a granny square in this box, but the colors are so nice. They're so beautiful. Okay, here's a granny square card. And the card stock is really good. It's thick. This is called the number 3. This is called the solid striped granny square. And this is the basic granny square. The single color granny square. card number 5, the 2-color granny square. And then look how many cards they are. Look how thick it is. I have been there have been complaints, and I've been watching other videos. I've been watching other crochet YouTubers who have bought the deck, but they have purchased unknowingly. They purchased the dupes. Unfortunately and unknowingly, they purchased the dupes of this beautiful card deck. Like this one, I want to try this. It's card number 22, the Star Puff. And then it shows you how the granny square is supposed to look. And then on the back, it shows you, it gives you the pattern. And then remember, the booklet lets you know or shows you how to read this pattern. What you think? When I saw Elise Rose review this, and then I started doing more research, and I started looking at other YouTube videos and checking them out, and I noticed that there are manufacturers out here who are making dupes of this, and the cardstock is not as thick, and they said the pattern is not correct on the card, and the card is flimsy and all of that stuff. I said I better make sure that when I order this kit, it's the real thing, you know? And so I am so glad that I did. And what I was thinking about, I can't think of the YouTuber's name, but she was talking about making or challenging herself to crochet one granny square card a week. Now, I don't know if I want to put myself under that type of pressure and do that, but maybe I could crochet one granny square a month from the deck. What do you think about that? Hey, that's a good idea. Maybe that'll be something to do in January. Crochet one of the cards in the deck per month until I crochet them all. And I really like them. I love the patterns. I love the variety of granny squares. Because you know I am a granny square nut. I mean, I guess you could tell I have a granny square blanket right there. But I love granny squares, and this granny square deck for me is going to really come in handy, especially when it comes to me making granny squares and granny square blankets. Now, this is the granny square card deck 50 Mix and Match Designs by Claire Montgomery. Comes with a nice booklet, and the box is great, nice and heavy. The cards are heavy and substantial, and this is what it looks like. So I'm so excited to have this in my collection, and I will most definitely be using it. And like I said, maybe in January I'll do the granny square or card a month out of that deck. What you think about that? That should be fun. And I was also thinking about adding some more granny square books to my collection, just to be able to get inspiration, to be inspired, to just be able to sit back and add some variety to what I'm doing. Another reason why you have not seen me here in the tiny studio is because I've been so busy trying to get out orders from my boutique, and I want to make sure everyone gets their order by Christmas. So I finished up the last of my orders, I want to say on Sunday, and so I've been mailing things, and I didn't mail anything today. I think I'm done. with mailing or shipping crochet scarves and things like that. So I've already finished that part, and now I have orders that will take me into maybe around March, like blankets and things of that nature. So now I'm working on that. And I know that I said I was going to really get into making the I can't believe I'm doing this. Ooh, menopause is a trip. Tams, crochet hats. Yes, Rasta hats, dreadlock hats. Yes, I did not forget about that. But you know, when we get into the fall winter season, I start really thinking about, you know, making sure that my company's, you know, wintry items are marketed, and that I have the time to be able to get those things out first, because that's where the money resides. But one thing that I really wanted to do, and that I'm going to work on when I finish filming this video, is I have some things I need to do as far as the jewelry end of my company. The name of my company is called Blue Lotus Hill Design. So I make handcrafted jewelry and fiber goods, which is crochet, scarves, tams, dreadlock tams. What was I working on the other day? Someone ordered some handcrafted towels, so I've been working on that. I've made maybe about 4. It's a set of 4, so I've been working on that. And now I'm thinking about putting my crochet booties back on the website, but I'll see. Since I make everything by hand, it takes a little time. And when I was really in the thick of promoting and marketing my business on social media, I was crocheting 24 hours a day, literally trying to get orders out. And it was like so intense for me that eventually I got the tennis elbow, knitter's elbow, or what my son calls tendonitis. And so I got tendonitis. And when you get tendonitis, the tendonitis would be like from my elbow, and it would go all the way up through my fingers. Oh my God. My fingers would be on fire. My wrists would be on fire. And so I would just power through, keep on crocheting until it got really bad and I had to stop. And that little pause that happened to me from tendonitis, that was like a month and a half pause. And when that pause occurred, oh my God, my orders were backed up. Literally. I made a scarf, a beaded scarf, for a Facebook friend, and she was going to wear it to on her trip to Prince's mansion in Minneapolis. And she wanted to wear it because my beads had symbols, or not the symbols, it had the numbers of Prince, you know, like he loved 7, 7, 9. And those were his numbers, right? And so that is what the beads were. That was the number of beads on the scarf. And you know, where is that scarf at? It was one of these beaded scarves. So it was this scarf. But this is what the scarf looked like. However, it was with the number 7 all through it. And so because of my tendonitis, I had to slow up on working on her scarf because I couldn't do it anymore. And so she ended up going to the museum, but she went to the museum without the scarf. So I felt really, really bad about that. So eventually I think I finished the scarf, but she had already, by the time she came back home from the museum, you know, she couldn't wear the scarf. I mean, when she got, you know, by the time she went to Minneapolis and came back, that's when I had finished the scarf. So, that's what I'm trying to say. And that's why I made sure that I took my time and I took breaks. I took my time and I took breaks this time around. So I was able to make sure that the orders that I received came in. I was able to work on them and get everything out in a timely fashion and not hurt myself in the process, just so much. I moved those scarves around and now I'm itching because it probably has dust on it and I'm allergic to dust. Every time I move the fibers in my tiny studio, dust starts flying. But I'm gonna tell you one thing that's not flying around here. Those are them damn fruit flies. Speaking of fruit flies, I finally got something for the fruit flies because I have a whole thing of fruit on the table right now. I have some mangoes. I think it's some mangoes, bananas, lemons, apples. I have them on the table right now. So as you see, there are no fruit flies. Yay! Because they are being zapped. They're seeing the bright light and getting zapped while they go to it. So I'm really happy about that. But I'm planning on making a mango pound cake. The other day I made a banana pound cake with Cavassier on the inside. So this week, this Sunday, I'm going to be making a mango pound cake, and that should be good. Today I'm going to puree the mango and put that in the freezer so that it'll be ready for me on Sunday so I can just add it to the batter. The baking station is working out really, really great. Really great. So I'm so excited because my daughter's been baking breads. I've been baking bread, baking cake and things of that nature, cakes and things, things of that nature here in the tiny studio home. And so the baking station turned out to be a really, really great idea. I'm still collecting Pyrex, but I have not found the additional 2 pieces to go to the vintage Daisy Pyrex that I showed you maybe 2 weeks ago here in the tiny studio. So I'm still looking for those things, and I'm really thinking and considering purchasing the Fire King milk glass mixing bowl 4-quart. It has a handle and a spout. So I want to make things as convenient as possible for us, as baking wise. That's why I really like the vintage Pyrex Cinderella bowls because you have the handle and then you have a spout on it and it's easy to turn, to pour the handle and to be able to pour the batter out into the cake pans or what have you. So I'm still looking and collecting, but if I find something while I'm out thrifting again, I'll show it to you here in the tiny studio, okay? And I haven't forgotten that I want to talk to you about my weight loss journey. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that my clothes are getting huge. I'm getting smaller. My clothes are falling off of me, so to speak, but I'm excited about it. And I think that I will get into it. I'm kind of nervous to talk about my weight loss journey with you guys, but we're all friends and family here, so maybe I will. But as you see, it's happening. I'm excited about it. I have to go into the doctor in January for a follow-up. So I hope he's thinking it. I hope he'll say that, you're doing really well, Neil, you're doing well. Or, hopefully he won't say, I thought you might be a little farther along than where you are. But I think I've come a long way in the 2 years since I first started this channel. I hope that I've come a long way. I know I have, because when I go back into the archives and I look at those videos and I see myself, I see my face. I see that, and then I look at my face now. I'm excited about it. I'm really happy to be in a place where I'm losing weight and I'm feeling good about myself, you know? Well, I'm going to get off the line. You know, I know it's been a while since I joined you guys and since I invited you guys into the tiny studio. There will be one more video, and I believe I'm going to post that video on Tuesday, and then, yeah, probably Tuesday, and then that'll be it. And I'll see you guys again. Let me check and see. Let me make sure I get the date right because I don't want to tell you wrong. I will see you guys again on the week of January 5th. January 5th is a Sunday, so I'll see you guys that week probably on, I keep hearing this thing Monday, January 6th, Monday, January 6th, but you know, I really don't do any filming on Mondays. So let's just say I'll see you guys again on January the 8th. And maybe I'll post some shorts in between that time. I don't know. But I'm going to be enjoying my family during this holiday season. And I'm going to be enjoying my husband. And I'm going to be keeping close to the people that I love and enjoying them as they, you know, go on vacation right now. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that. So that's why you won't be seeing me after. I keep saying Tuesday I'm going to post a video. In my mind says Tuesday, so I believe Tuesday will be the last day that you'll see a new video from me, and then we'll kick back up January the 8th. How about that? All right, I am out of here, Tiny Studio guests. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this hour. It's 56 minutes. No, it's 57 minutes past the hour. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And thank you for taking the time to, you know, spend with me. This has been a great 2024. Thank you for really taking the time to subscribe to the channel. If you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing now. And I know that I said I was going to start the membership group up, and I think that I did. I think there are tiers or levels, or is that Patreon? I need to check into that. But whatever. Consider becoming a member, a channel member as well. Let's work on that as we go into 2024. Let's work on becoming channel members, really sustainable members of the channel. I would really appreciate it. I would really like that. I think that you would enjoy some behind the scenes things and happenings going on here in the tiny studio. Okay, well, I am out of here. Look at this. Granny Square card deck. Ooh. You know what? I think my last video coming up for next week, I think I'm going to make a Granny Square from the Granny Square card deck. What y'all think about that? I think I will. That'd be something we could talk about, huh? All right, well, I am off of here. I'm your girl, Nell, and I'll see you next Tuesday. And I hope you have a really, really safe weekend. Bye-bye.